Howdy, and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Today we've got another Aurora kit, a little something different though. This is of a car, specifically the Miller Special from the 1931 Indianapolis 500. This is a 1958 kit in 1/30th scale, and it's kit number 523-79. It's a reissue from Aurora of a series of kits put out by Best Hobby. They made a series of Indianapolis 500 race cars and a number of other kits, and then when they went belly up, Aurora purchased the molds from them and re-released most of that line of Indy 500 winners, and this is one of them. So the 1931 Indianapolis 500 was also known as the 19th International 500-mile sweepstakes race. It was put on by AAA. It was held on May 30th, 1931. There was 165,000 people in attendance, and it was won by a gentleman driving this car here, Louis Schneider. He led the final 34 laps of the race, and he was accompanied by the riding mechanic of Jigger Johnson. At this time, riding mechanics were required to be part of the race, so all the drivers had a mechanic riding along with them. The race was run at an average speed of 96.629 miles per hour. The pole sitter had a speed of 112.796 miles an hour. And Schneider started 13th. He only made one pit stop on lap 106 and ended up taking the lead on lap 155 after the leader who led a big chunk of the race, Billy Arnold, ended up crashing into the wall. His car burst into flames. One of the wheels broke off, bounced up and over the wall across the street, and ended up killing an 11-year-old boy. And so Schneider ends up leading the final 39 laps of the race, and he won by a margin of 43.19 seconds, which at the time was the second closest finish in the 500 history. So Schneider himself was born in December 19th of 1901. He's actually born in Indianapolis, and he's one of two Indy 500 winners who were born in Indianapolis. His last race, he was injured qualifying for a midget race in San Diego, and he ended up dying a couple of years after that, September 22nd of 1942, of tuberculosis. So there was some bad news information, fake news, that was put out saying that he died of injuries from that last race, but that was like 2-3 years prior to his death. He was injured, but nothing life-threatening or anything. He had a broken arm and some scrapes and bruises and stuff, but he ended up actually dying of tuberculosis at the ripe old age of 40. The car itself was built on a Stevens chassis. It was a Miller Special engine. It was a 151 cubic inch displacement engine, and it was an inline 8. And the car still exists. Most recently, it was sold at auction for $2 million, and it was run in one of the fairly recent Indy 500 races. They did a parade of old winning cars, and the car ran some laps around the track then. So that's a little history about the car and the race. So let's take a look at what we got here. So Aurora commissioned new artwork for their issue of the kits. They used a much larger box than the original boxing of these. Standard Aurora box that most of their aircraft and other kits from this time period came in. And this was actually done by a gentleman by the name of Monahan. Don't know his first name, wasn't able to find that, but he did this whole series of box arts for their 500 races. This is one of the earlier issue logos where it still has the Aurora Borealis flight rays in the logo. And You can tell this is the 58 issue of the kit because it has the Parents Magazine, seal of approval on here. Look on the side, and we've got the name of the kit again. Plastic with real racing tires. Aurora's address, copyright of 58, and litho in USA. And litho is because these are lithographed sheets that were wrapped and glued around a hard box. And on this side, similar information again. On the end, we've got a repetition of the top box art and what would be used as the main Aurora logo later on, the simplified logo. And we've got our kit number. And the dash 79 meant that this was suggested retail price of 79 cents for this kit. And similar on this end. Bottom of the box just shows remnants of where the tape was. This is before kits were plastic wrapped. They were just taped closed. So now let's get inside here and see what we got. So here you can see the lithograph wrap going around and then being glued down on top of the hard box. And the bottom is held together with taped edges. So here's our instructions. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step instructions on here. Some tips on how to build your model better. An ad for Aurora paints. You get a set for 79 cents, or you could buy them individually for 10 cents a pop. Also a little ad for their glue. A little blurb over here for a little bit about the car itself. And then your steps are assembling the main body itself, seats, instrument panel, radiator, suggested paint detailing, and then you start assembling the chassis. And then interestingly, they go to figure 3 goes to how to put the hubcaps on, which don't actually occur until you get to step 5, but here they're showing you in this little figure to use a pin to put the glue inside there so the wheels can still turn. Then here's assembling the links and hand brake, front brake drums, and then the final one is putting the wheels together, getting them on, exhaust, dropping your driver and mechanic in, and there you go. So no engine, but quite a bit of exterior detail. And on the back side here, you got good advertisement for Aurora and all the different kits they were making. So they're highlighting the 30 series of airplanes here. And at this point here in 58, you can see they've got quite a substantial lineup of kits. And they're also promoting their HO scale for model railroad. So I'm going to scroll down so you can take a look at all the kits available then. Some of these are ones we've featured on the channel so far. I think these are kind of neat, these guys and gals of all nations. And that is your kit, or your instructions. There's decals, not in the bestest shape in the world, but there you go there. So Bose Seal Fast was a sponsor of this car, and it's race car number 23. And so there's your decals, and let's see what we got in the kit here. So there's your driver and your mechanic getting nice and cozy. Kind of nebulous detail there, kind of blobby. And they got kind of staggered seats. So they kind of sit like that. There we go. And here we've got our racing tires, which appear to be rubber. Kind of got a little dirty over the year, but they do have, looks like Firestone imprinted on them. So, you get some nice racing rubber there. And here is the main body of the car. Fairly simple. So you do get some surface detailing, some panel lining there, some rivet detail around on parts, a little bit of sinkhole marks from where the pins are, representation of the hood straps, and what there is at the bottom of the car. So it's a pretty tight fit. A little bit of scraping with the X-Acto or some sandpaper. You really wouldn't have to do a whole lot of filling on that. And here is the radiator, which is a chrome part. That would fit on there. Pretty decent little fit for that. So that's your body. And then let's see what else we got here. Got our instrument panel, which is kind of stuck on the bottom here. And come on. Yeah, this doesn't want to come off the bottom of the kit. There we go. So there's our somewhat limited instrument panel. Don't know how many instruments they would have had on a car like that, but there you go. There's some of the leaf arm suspension, or leaf spring, I should say, leaf spring suspension. And here's a couple others, not too badly represented here. And there's our exhaust pipe. The 8 cylinders coming out one side. And brake, front shaft, rear shaft. A couple other little accessory parts on there for the suspension. Another leaf spring. And then here we have the wheels. So wheels are done in 2 parts for each wheel, so kind of a decent representation of the wire wheels on it. And what else we got in here? And there's our hubs that they were talking about. And a steering wheel. So, not a whole lot to this kit. Of course, there's not a whole lot to the car. But pretty decent kit for its time. Originally, it was issued in 1954, so very early kit. And decent size for a car, too. A lot of these cars were done in like 32nd scale, so getting it in 30th scale, you know, is a little bit nicer. So, as I mentioned before, it was originally issued by Best Hobby in 1954. This issue from Aurora is 1958. Aurora, Netherlands actually released this kit as well, too. It's almost identical boxing, slightly different. And then the final issue is 1959 without this parents logo. Basically an identical boxing as well, too. And interestingly enough, this appears to be the only kit that's ever been produced of this Miller Special. So if you're looking to, make all the Indy 500 winners, this is the only game in town for making a kit of it. So that's about it. Not much else to show on it. If you've ever built one of these, either the old Best kits or one of the limited Aurora issues, tell us about it in the comments. I've got a few others of this series, so over the time we'll take a look at some of the other kits from this series as well too. So thanks for watching, and have yourself a great rest of your day.